corporations all of our bills of rights, all of our, tax free. So we're going to see a rise in corporatism. More corporations are going to enter into the market, and so that's going to have more sharks, more vultures, more bloodsuckers. So they're going to tighten things up. And then one thing that's terrible about a Great Depression, that's great for the rich, is that the Great Depression squeezes the middle class and the working class on down, so they lose all their shit, and then the rich can buy all your property for pennies on the dollar. So let's see here. Putin's going to take Ukraine, and then if NATO collapses, that's going to be all of Europe. NATO protected the Eastern European countries. So without NATO, without Ukraine, is Italy protected? Is Germany protected? Is the United Kingdom protected? Lithuania and Romania, Estonia, they could be taken down. They could be taken down if he thinks that he could just push into new areas all around him. When that whole Hitler's thing was just to provide more space. And then if you invade America and you're like, well, okay, we'll give you Florida, to end the thing. Does that end it? With the Assyrians, the Hezekiah, he paid them off from the treasury of the temple. And that Isaiah wasn't happy about that. And guess what? The Assyrians came back. When you squeeze somebody and they bend to your will, then eventually you could squeeze them again and again and again. So in 10 years later, the Assyrians are like, we need more money. So let's go and attack Judah once more. Hezekiah, you know what I'm talking about. When it comes to the criminal government, we're going to see, I think, more crime overall. When our government are a bunch of criminals, that's going to increase the criminals on the streets. And then that's natural law territory. They'll spend a whole bunch of money for more prisons and more cops and DAs and court systems. But regular folks will have to watch out for citizen criminals and government criminals. So they have to look out. And then when they set the example, government criminals set the example. Oh, well, look at what they do. They don't give a damn about right or wrong. They go in, they attack this person, attack that person. They take what they want. And then they keep their mouths shut. When it comes to AI and cybersecurity, Elon Musk might help Donald with cybersecurity and AI. I'm not for sure what the problems could be there. Cybersecurity, so having, foreign governments hack into the government stuff. There's a lot of government. They're trying to get rid of government. And actually, they're going to try to bypass the UN, the ICC, the HWO, CDC, the WTO. And the bureaucracy can get pretty stagnant. Vivek Ramaswamy is kind of right. Once a bureaucracy gets so overbloated, it's best just to turn it off and turn it on, reset it. Reset it just like you do a computer or Nintendo. I think we're going to see more robot and drone warfare. Maybe even get Skynet. And will that lead to nuclear war? I'd like to hear him talk about, not doing nuclear war. We've been on the verge of killing all of humanity for quite some time. More robot and drone warfare you might think is a good thing, but just like the masters and the heroic spirits, if you're sending drones and robots into their area and they're killing people, well then, okay, no loss of life for you, but then you're going to go up against other drones and other robots and other major power, and maybe it's just going to be all robots out in the middle of a fucking parking lot, out in the middle of a field. Eventually, you're going to go to the source. And then eventually, they're going to say, well, hell, what if we just put AI into these robots and drones? Let the drones and the robots fight the war by themselves as best as they can. Isn't that smart? Have AI, a drone robot, to just go into a foreign and then just keep evolving and adapting and have no orders. Nobody's giving in any orders. That'd be awful. So Donald Trump talked about wanting penicillin getting developed in America. Now, that's what the idea of these tariffs are. It's supposed to be protectionist. It's supposed to protect American industry. So by getting penicillin developed in America, that could be good or bad. I don't know. By getting penicillin, is it cheap enough? Can we do it here? I mean, are we outsourcing it because it's cheaper? If we do it here, are we good enough to do it? And then how expensive will it be? So that'll rise costs. The tariffs will increase cost. He says he's going to lower grocery prices. Then he says, I don't know how to do it. Well, Kamala had an idea. Kamala got our expectations up that she was going to lower grocery prices, stop the price gouging on groceries, and then she was also going to build more housing. Is he going to do shit about housing? We're just going to leave it up to the capitalist class? Well, they'll just, pander to the middle class and upwards. So that means working class, they're not going to build new housing. They're not going to ease. It's going to be $1,000 rent. You're going to have more people that are homeless. So when it comes to nuclear energy, he's pro-nuclear energy, which is, fine in some respects. There could increase a nuclear meltdown, and he's for less regulation. So, hey, why don't you just experiment with that plutonium? Uranium? Oh, shmuranium. Here's uranium for you and me and everybody. Everybody gets uranium. So when it comes to nuclear proliferation, that's another good thing that Jimmy Carter talked about. At least he was concerned about the nuclear weapons. Make sure we have lesser nuclear weapons. When it comes to nuclear energy, can you turn that into nuclear weapons? I mean, I feel like the meltdown, Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, that's the shit you want to avoid. When it comes to the law, it's going to be selectively applied. I don't see any kind of morality. When it comes to the ruling classes and the government and the rich and the powerful, they'll just implement a, deportation program, or maybe a go get the trade unionist and the Jews, go get the trade unionist and the Jews and the communists, right? And you think that it won't come after you. So that's going to be terrible, just having the goddamn fucking law. I mean, that's why we need the Constitution. I'm going to do another thing where the classical liberalism, the Constitution gives us, 8 ways to fight tyranny. Resistance to tyranny is obedience to God. That's the mantra of the American Revolution. Obedience? No. Resistance to tyranny is obedience to God. So he's going to lower tax on tips, tax on Social Security. I'm not sure what that will do for anybody. Oh, I don't have to pay taxes on my tips anymore? Well, before you could have reported all your tips. You report just $20 in tips and not worry about the tax thing. Now you got to report your taxes. So basically, I don't see it being good for servers. I see that they're going to get a hand on the servers. Nah, it's a cash business. They keep taking all that damn money. I don't see the deficit going down, because when it comes to the stuff that they want to fucking spend money on, they'll continue to spend it. When it comes to the deficit and the debt, a lot of times these so-called conservative Republicans, they spend more fucking money. Well, you got to do a war, right? You got to build more prisons. Well, you need more goddamn clerks. You need more clerks and more judges. That's the answer, right? You fire the rower and you get more management. You fire the workers and you hire another manager. He talked about increasing the debt ceiling. So I see that the deficit is going to explode. And if they don't get AmeroCoin, if they don't get Bitcoin, if they don't do something with the dollar, tie it to silver and gold, then we're going to get swallowed. We're going to go down. We're not focusing on our economics enough. At the very least, just apply Milton Friedman's law of economics. Milton Friedman said, don't do fraud and don't do monopolies. He was saying, make as much money as you can. That you're ethically obligated to make money, but don't do it fraudulently. And he was against monopolies. Those were like his 2 big exceptions. So Donald could go after the monopolies. Everybody should go after the monopolies. How the fuck is that fair? Well, he owns all the eggs, so he gets to charge us $50,000. Oh, okay, cool. So I see the deficit increasing. I see more tariffs. Is he going to lower taxes? Maybe, maybe not. On Social Security, on the tips. It's kind of crazy that Social Security is taxed. Here's your $1,000 check, and we're going to take $1,000 away from. For what? That's taxation without represent. That's, give me my check. I'm an old person. I'm about to freaking kick the bucket. I need my Social Security check. You're going to tax it? I mean, that just seems. Here's your $1,000, but I'm going to take $200. For what? Because I gave it to you. That doesn't make any sense. I know. We're talking about military Iron Dome. He's going to, make the most robust military. We're going to make a whole bunch of jets, a whole bunch of planes, a whole bunch of tanks. And the problem with the standing army is you're going to eventually want to send that standing army somewhere. Well, we got a standing army. Let's maybe we should invade Grenada. Is it time to